This week, we'll be making light up LED cards. So pick your favorite card design, your favorite color of LED, and let's get started with your circuit diagram. When this project is completed, we'll be able to turn the light on and off by closing a switch and completing the circuit. First, let's decide where to place the LED. It's completely up to you where on your design you want to put it, but you need to make sure that you poke a hole for the legs of the LED through both layers of card, and the hole has to end up in between the two pieces of copper tape that are marked on the diagram. Once it's in the right spot, tape or glue the diagram down to the back of the card. You can just use regular Scotch tape at home, but I'm using this yellow stuff so it shows up a little bit better. Now let's place our copper tape. Measure and cut the correct length for the longest strip that's on your diagram, the one that's running at a diagonal. Once you've cut it, check again to make sure you've got the right length. Your kit has a little bit extra in case you've made a mistake. When you're using this copper tape, try to keep some of the backing on as you're working with it instead of pulling it all the way off at once. Start on this end and very carefully lay it down. It's all right if it has a little bit of a wrinkle in it, but you want it to be as close as possible to the guide on the diagram. When placing the second piece, the most important thing is to make sure that the two pieces of copper tape do not overlap. To complete our circuit, we need to make sure that each side of the battery is touching only one of these pieces of tape. So be very careful and patient and slow, and ask an adult for help if you need it. We are just about ready to place our battery, but first we need to make sure that each side of the battery is only going to touch one piece of this conductive copper tape. You can see that the battery overlaps the diagonal piece, and we don't want that, so we are going to insulate it by adding a piece of Scotch tape over top of that area right there. This will make sure that the electricity can flow in one side and out the other when we close the circuit. Batteries have a positive and a negative side, and to make sure that the electricity flows correctly in the circuit, we need to make sure it's facing the right way. We want the positive side of the battery facing up and the negative side coming in contact with the short piece of copper tape. Check again to make sure it's not accidentally touching any of the copper on the longer piece. Now you can tape it down just like I'm doing. Make sure you keep the center open so that when we fold over that switch, the long piece of copper will come into contact with the exposed part of the battery. There we go. Take a look at your LED. It has a short leg and a long leg. The short one is negative and the long one is positive. That means that the short leg of the LED needs to be connected to our short piece of copper tape, and our long one needs to be attached to the long piece of copper tape. Poke through both layers. Check to make sure you've got the short leg and the long leg sorted out, and then fold over on top of the copper tape. Don't tape it down yet. Test. There we go. Everything is working. Now you can add some tape to hold those legs down. And wait for it. It works! Way to go, everyone. Uh-oh. Something's not working. Don't worry about it. It happens to everyone, and we can troubleshoot. One common mistake might be if your LED legs are accidentally facing the wrong way. So turn it around and make sure that the short leg of the LED is attached to the short piece of copper tape and the long leg is attached to the long piece of copper tape. Test to see if that's what the problem was. Oh, yep, we fixed that problem. But maybe that's not all that was wrong. Let's see. Oh, okay, did you have your battery upside down? Make sure the plus sign is facing up. And the last thing to double check is to make sure that we have got that bottom piece well insulated. Add a little bit more tape to make sure that you're not accidentally letting the negative side of the battery come into contact with both pieces of tape. Let's check. Oh, there we go. We fixed it. Hopefully that basic troubleshooting fixed any problems with your projects. If not, try switching out for a different LED to see if that works, or see if you can find a different 3-volt battery in your house to put into your project. See you next week.